And we are live. Hi, guys. Let me just make sure that I've got everything I need up here. I'm going to put in the comments real quick my website. Oops. Link here. There we go. There we go. Oh, did it work? Hopefully that link worked for you. Let me just double check. Okay. Yay. Okay, so I'm just going to wait a few minutes here and see if anyone joins real quick, and then I will jump into it. So obviously you're seeing all the paintings behind me. No longer a secret anymore. So hopefully, oops, there we go. Okay, as I go through each painting a little bit, which I'll kind of do here in a moment. Okay, just want to make sure I have the tabs I need open right now, right here, which I do. Okay, one more. I need my square, my website open so that I can, as I talk about each painting, I'm going to actually launch it on my website. So you'll get to see it in person, because I know, in this format, you can only see so much of a painting. But I'll launch it individually. So you can go to the website, which I did put in the comments just now, so that you can see exactly where they're going to be posted, so that you can, there's some up close pictures of each one and a side view from each one, just so that you have that. So, here we go. Okay. So I will be making them live as we go. So you'll want to, if you're on the Fragile Glory Impressions website, artwork website, or artwork page, you'll want to maybe refresh the page every now and again when I finish posting about each one. But until then, let me just start off by welcoming you. So thanks for joining. Thanks for watching this, whether you're watching it live or watching it later. I'm really excited to show you guys this series and talk to you about it a little bit, share my thought process and inspiration and how I did each one and which one was my first and all these things. So if you have questions or comments or anything, like, please share that in the comment section, and I'll try to remember to look periodically at those so that we can keep interacting. But again, in the comment section, I put Fragile Glory Impressions website so that you can actually see these as I make them live on the site after I talk about each one. So you can go check that out now too. Okay. So yeah, I would love to interact with you guys as we go, because that'll be just a really fun thing. So again, if you have questions or anything, like, please let me know, or which one you want to know more about as I go along. So I did post in the description of this video the link to the YouTube video I did that I posted last week on how I based, like, the technique behind this series. So I did this series in a specific sort of impressionistic technique, and I'll explain that to you now. But the link for that video, in case you're curious about, like, actually seeing it in progress, is in the link of this live video. So the process for each one of these, every single one of these started out with the whole canvas being painted in a solid color, a pretty bright, vibrant color. Some of them were orange, like a bright orange. Some of them were a bright pink. Some were like a really vibrant blue. Let's see, did I have any like purple? One was like a purpley pink. Some pinks. Yeah, so they've got some sherbet colors in the background. So really vibrant color as the base of the canvas. We call it the underpainting. And the color that I chose depended on what the colors of the picture I was copying, or the intention behind like the colors that were in the picture, or the mental image combination that I wanted to paint. So for example, if it had warmer colors in the clouds in the sky, then the underpainting was going to be cooler. So that means, if there's reds and yellows and oranges in the sky and in the clouds, then the background was going to be blues or purples, right? So opposite side of the spectrum. So I did a lot of that. So each one has opposites. So let me just go through briefly and show you. This has an orange background because it has lots of cooler blues and purples on top. This has a warmer background, which actually might be a little bit opposite of what I just said. There are a lot of cools in here, but there's still quite a bit of warm. This has like a blue, or not a blue, a bright pink blue background, purple, pink type of background, which is warmer because obviously the whole painting is very cool. This is a pretty bright orange background with, again, pretty cool, lots of blue sky. Then we've got this guy, had a super, super bright blue background, like almost dark blue. And I'll maybe give you close-ups. And again, on the website, as I post each one, you'll get to see these up close. And of course, that had lots of warm colors on top. And then this one had an orange sherbet peach base with warm colors on top. And then this had pink as an underpainting, and then again, cool colors on top. I meant cool colors, sorry. So you can kind of get the idea that's opposite underneath and what's on top. And the reason I did that is because I've seen artists do it before, and I've done it with different subject matters, but I like being able to kind of show that background color a little bit, like a sparkle along the edges of the clouds, of the sky. Like nothing is perfectly connected. You get little sparkles of that showing through, even like a dry brush, thicker paint over the canvas. You can see the canvas kind of coming through, and it's not white. It's going to be that underpainting of whatever color that is. So, super fun. Like I love this technique. It's just a lot of fun. It's very playful. It's very brightly colored. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the process of how to paint these. So again, the video to see how that works is in the description of this video. Let's see here. I've got little notes so I don't get like too off track. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to share with you the title of the piece and then the little description, and all these things are on the website. So as I finish talking about a painting, hopefully I remember to actually go and launch it, make it visible for you guys. But I'll just kind of talk about these and launch them as I go. And again, if you have questions or comments along the way, please let me know. So let's see. Let's go first to, let's talk about this guy right here, off to my right. Okay, so the title of this one is called Signal of Change. And the description says, they change the atmosphere as they encroach on one another, leaving only cracks of blue behind. So I wanted to go for a little bit poetic of descriptions and kind of, let you kind of think about the title a little bit. So that is that guy. Again, orange underpainting. You can see the details there. And let's publish this one so that you can see this on the website. Signal of Change. Really fun one. It's got actually a mountainscape at the bottom. So you can go check that out on the site. Then we've got, these aren't going to be in order. They're in, oh, actually, I could go. Let's go in order of what's here. So then we'll do this guy. This one is called Fade and Blend. This one right here. And the description is watching the mist fade and blend overhead as big blue comes into view. So you got the ocean down below. You've got these telephone. Whoa. I was a little afraid things were going to fall. And that's the first one that sort of made a little attempt to move there. Okay, we should be good. So ocean in the view, kind of a road, kind of hinting at, you know, some perspective going off into the distance. Really a very different approach to the clouds, because again, the whole point of this series was studying clouds. And I'll talk in a minute about my purpose behind that. But yeah, so that one is got more of a misty cloud look. So let me launch that. Fade and Blend. It's the title of that one. Then we have Fear or Power is what I called this one. And that's this guy right here. Fear or Power. You know not whether to run for cover or stand in awe when this approaches. So a little bit of a more ominous one, darker clouds. I love the green hue of this guy. Super, super fun. Let me launch that real quick. I'll talk about these a little bit more in detail, and I talk about my purpose behind them as soon as I get these all live for you guys. Then we have this one in the middle here, and this one is called Sorbet Lace. Sorbet mirrored on the lace, contrasting the blue sky on this sunset or sunrise. You can kind of, you know, sunsets and sunrises look very similar, and you could decide for yourself which one that is. But again, that sort of peachy, sherbirdy color on the PC clouds was very, very fun to paint. So that is going live. Then we've got, I'll scoot this way a tiny bit. This one here. This one is titled Drama Queen. The bright pink really makes it. So the description, what a drama queen. Making a big deal of moisture, light, and color. And that's real. You know, I took that photo and I painted it, and those colors were there. Like, that's what it looked like. It's just amazing the colors you can see in the sky that the sky creates. Okay, so that one's going live. Then we've got this one tucked in the back here. Title is Lady of the Day. Lady of the Day as she observes her land scrolling by. It's a little bit more of a daytime, is it cumulonimbus clouds? Big puffy white ones with the blue sky. You know, they could be storm clouds, but they can be a little happier, less contrast. Again, more of a mountain scene down below. And that one is going live. Then, last but not least, we have this one over here. And this one is called Scattered. The setting sun on dramatic scattered pieces at an angle that makes you feel small. So this one was very dramatic, yeah, with you felt like you could feel the sky, the expanse of the sky as it went up. And so I wanted to really emphasize that. And I really like how it turned out with the sort of pinky undertones on our painting, and then the almost gray blue sky in contrast, but then with the super bright, you know, the sun is hitting those clouds really vibrantly. So Super, super fun one. And that one is also going to go live. So let me just make sure that's all of them. They are now live for you guys. So if you refresh that page, fragilegloryimpressions.com/artwork, you'll see those on the top there. All 7, they're there. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about kind of my inspiration or thought process behind these, like why clouds and why the title Consider the Clouds. So let me pull up my notes here so I don't get too off track. So I personally, just as an artist, have like really admired the sky and watching, especially I live in Colorado, so we get a lot of color in our skies, and our clouds are really dramatic, especially late in the day. And so I've always loved skies. I've always loved clouds. I've loved the texture. I've loved the lighting. I've loved the colors. It's just, it's really a strong inspiration for me. And I think, yeah, I've kind of sought out ways to see the sky more, which might sound weird, but like, you know, I tend to be, if it's really warm outside and really nice outside, my friends know this about me, I need to go outside. If I don't go outside and it's really nice out, I will shrivel and die inside. So sometimes winter is very helpful because I don't really want to go outside, and therefore I'm more productive inside. But when it's nice outside, I struggle with staying inside. So I try to go out and I try to look at the sky as much as I can, even if I just for a few minutes. It really just gives me life and joy and perspective. So that's kind of the first thing. And, you know, the sky is constantly changing. You're never going to see the same sky, the same clouds, the same composition ever again, you know, so there's this constant change, but yet there's, you know, there's familiarity in it at the same time, because, you know, we grow up in a world where we just, the sky's blue during the day. Like, we're just used to that. Have you ever thought about it? How it's really weird that the sky is just blue. Like, sometimes if you think too much about it, you can kind of feel a little claustrophobic. But like, that even changes. Like, the sky being blue, even though we're so used to that, like the colors just shift and change and morph. And so that's just inspiring. Every summer until I had a baby, every summer, most summers for the last, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years or so, I liked doing sunrise hikes, which, you know, aren't super fun because you have to get up at like 4 a.m. and drive and hike to watch the sunrise. But I just found it so enjoyable once you were there and with people you loved and enjoyed. You got to see the sun, you know, rise, and whether or not you actually saw the actual sun, because whether there was cloud cover or fog or something like that, just the expanse of the land and the sky together and the changing colors, like, it really gives you perspective of life. I would often like crave going on a sunrise hike when, you know, either I was stressed or struggling with something, or, you know, life was hard, or I felt sad, or, you know, there's a lot of deep emotions that came with deciding to go on one of those hikes to watch the sunrise, because it was like, this is a new day. I can start afresh, right? But it also just gave me like really clear perspective on my struggles. You know, like, we're so small and tiny, and feel insignificant at times, right? And so then, not that sounds a little weird, but, you know, when you look out onto the land and see that sun coming up and the massive sky, you're just like, wow, my troubles can't be that bad. Like, really? Am I really struggling with this? Like, I think we're okay. Like, I'm just this little tiny little person in my little sphere of the world that's so massive, and I think I'm such a big deal, you know, and we're not really. I mean, we get so caught up in our little heads and our little worlds, and and we're like, we know what's right and we know what's best and we know blah, 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 blah. And we don't. We're tiny. We're one of how many people in the world right now? And there's people dying and being born like constantly. Like our lives are fragile. So all that is kind of a deep underlying current of this series. Let's see. I don't want to get too off track here. So obviously this year, 2020, has been a cursed year, I guess you could say, for everybody. Obviously, certain things hit different people differently, harder, when it comes to money or jobs or your mental health or all these different things. Like 2020 has been rough, to say the least. So, and we all know that. I can't really say more than that because we all understand that point. So I thought that I was kind of seeing myself looking at the sky a little bit more this year. I did move into a house that has a little bit of a better view of the west sky. And so like at night or even most of the day, I could kind of look out a big window and see the sky, see the clouds changing, see the colors changing pretty much every day. And that definitely was healing in many ways to be able to see that. There's obviously other ways to see the sky. You don't have to live in a place that has a good view. You can, go on a hike. You can go walk somewhere. You can, there's ways to see the sky. But I definitely this year so far have looked up a lot more. I realizing that like we are small and we don't know what the heck is happening with the world. Everything is a mess. And so we don't have control over anything, right? And so like we have to surrender and look up at the sky and be like, God, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I'm doing, but wow, look, this looks awesome. This looks beautiful. I'm so tiny. I don't need to figure everything out. I don't need to be in control of everything. So that's definitely the strong root of this series is reflecting, considering the clouds, looking up, thinking beyond our little puny little selves, and thinking of the good, thinking of the future. I mean, the sky often, I think, in many ways, represents the future. It kind of is like, I don't know how to explain that, but it feels like you're looking up at the future. You're looking up for better things to come. So there's that. Let's see. And obviously a lot of us, because of this pandemic specifically, have been stuck inside a lot. And obviously I'm not saying go out and like break the rules or whatever, but you can step outside. You can step outside safely and you can look up and you can look at the sky. And so I recommend that you do that every day for just a few minutes, because that is huge for your mental health, for your perspective on life. Please do that. It's very, very healing. Taking a deep breath out in that air and letting it out. So that would be, something I'd like for you to take with you after hearing me on my soapbox a little bit. To just take a breather, step outside, watch the sun, go specifically plan either a sunrise hike or a sunset hike or going somewhere specific to watch one of those things. It really gives perspective on life. I've always personally, like if we take a more personal step back, I've always been a big picture person. I think that's a right brain thing, but like I like to think of everything as a whole, everything fitting together as a whole. So things connecting and all that stuff. And And I feel like getting outside for me is something that helps me see things as a whole, because we do get stuck in our little lives and we're like, oh, this is how I do things. This is my big world and everything's awful or everything's great. Or, we just get in these little tiny little bubbles and we forget that we need to look outside of ourselves and look at the big picture. I mean, like I try to do mental exercises of even zooming out, those videos that they start in I think there's a video of starting in Central Park or something and zooming all the way out to space. I try to do that sometimes just to get a little perspective of yeah, I'm really not all that. And I'm really not one that knows everything. I'm really not, yes, God loves me and people love me and I'm cared for and I'm loved. That's not the point. It's the point that, our world is big. There's a lot of people involved in everything that we're going through. So yeah, just something to think about, a big picture. And I tend to think that way, which I think is why I can't stay inside too long, because I get too stuck in thinking, oh man, there's no purpose in what I'm doing right now, because it doesn't, in my mind, relate to the big picture. So that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, and really I think the biggest thing is just letting God take it, resting in that peace. And the sky brings some ominous things at times. But usually through the ominous, there's some good stuff. The big dark clouds come in, but that means rain is coming, right? Or the sun is going down, which means there's going to be another day, and we've used a day and we've used it well, right? There's all these things that there's so many metaphors to the sky and the clouds. And so that is that is my inspiration behind this series. And obviously I was able to whip out 7 paintings, and I want to do more, but I had to stop myself because I'm I have other things to do. But I've had fun. I mean, I painted these probably in a month of just whipping them out, thinking through all these thoughts, being sick of social media and just wanting to give a little perspective to myself and to other people. So hopefully that speaks to you in some way, and that you can, see a painting like this and feel that expanse and feel that, sorry. I wasn't going to cry, but I am. Anyway, I'm going to get on to what I hope you can get out of it. Art is very, it can be very, well, I think it always is very impactful art. Whether you take it positively or negatively, it impacts you. And that's why I named my business Fragile Glory Impressions, because art leaves a very solid impression on your mind. Even if you walk away from it going, ew, there you go. It made an impression on you, right? A negative impression. So obviously with these paintings, I want to create a positive impression. I want you to reflect on those things I mentioned and really just get a little perspective about life, by just being reminded to look at the sky. So my intentions for my viewers for this series, and obviously art is, you can interpret it how you want to interpret it. It doesn't have to be what I say. And obviously I wanted you to be able to see them first and me to kind of go over some of the titles and descriptions for you. But then for you to make, the meaning connection for yourself. But I will just mention, as from artist to viewer, kind of what I was thinking intention should be. And obviously I've mentioned some of that just now, but let me see if I can get back on track. So I hope that through this series of you seeing these, that you can just look up more. Go outside every day and look up. Yes, winter is coming. Yes, change in weather is coming. That's no excuse. We should get outside and we should look up. Reminder that there are better days to come. I think that's the other big thing we need to hear right now in 2020 so far, is that it's going to get better before it gets worse. It's going to get better. It's going to be better. Just not yet. So reminder that it will get better someday. There are better days to come. But not only that, but that hopefully you can feel loved and supported in this time. I know that, not being face to face with people or being able to travel and see things, and we feel disconnected. We feel like we're not close to people. We feel like we're disconnected, like no one cares about us, right? And please do not think that. And I'm awful at this. I've got friends that I don't talk to a lot because I get stuck in my own bubble again. I forget the big picture. And so just because that happens doesn't mean you're not loved. And obviously we all need to do a better job of connecting anyway. So just remembering that you are supported, you're loved, you're not alone. I think that's a big message here too. But also remembering to look beyond ourselves, look beyond our thought process, how we grew. There's so many things that affect how we think about things, and we just need to step back a little bit and let things play out and not feel like we have to be in control and figure things out. We don't need to feel like we have, life and people and happiness all figured out. We don't. We can find it for ourselves, and we can enjoy life, and it doesn't matter what other people are doing, right? Or how they think about things. We just need to be respectful of each other's viewpoints and just do what we want to do what we need to do. Love on each other, right? Let the sky provide perspective. So if you get stuck in your bubble a lot, then you really need to step outside. But maybe go on a hike, go plan something, go walk somewhere, it's very nourishing for our souls to do that. And I know there's people out there, and I'm an introvert, so I like kind of being more isolated at times. But I think everybody, no matter who you are, whether you like being isolated or not, you need to step out and get a little perspective from the sky. Watch it. Don't just go out and look necessarily, unless you only have, a few seconds. But spend some time out there, reflect, look up. What I did as a kid was I would lay down in the grass. I would look up, and if you kind of looked all around you, you could almost visually see the curve of the sky, of the earth, the curvature of the earth. And that was just so cool because it did give you perspective. You felt like you were on the earth, which I know is weird to say because we are, obviously. But you felt more like you were actually on it and in it when you could see the curve happening. I don't know. So go try it. I maybe it's just me, but I could see that kind of curvature. And again, it just provides that perspective. Look at the big picture and know that even though we are small, we can make a big difference. So even though I'm saying a lot about we're so small and insignificant and don't think so much about yourself, we're still valued and loved, and we can make a huge difference. The fact that majority of the world can know specific famous people, one person that the whole world can know, that's an impact, right? A huge impact that a little tiny person can make. And so even though, we're not famous and well known, we have a spread and we can interact with people in our sphere and make a huge difference. But what kind of difference is that going to be? Is that going to be condemning? Is that going to be judging? Is that going to be hating? Is that going to be loving? There's all these things that kind of relate to that. And it's that big picture again. And I think the biggest thing is, let the troubles are there. They're always going to be there. Different troubles are always going to be there. But let it shrink away. I think that's why I loved sunrise hikes, because I would go and I would be like, wow, my troubles seem so small right now. Let them fall away. Let them disappear for a while. Not saying you can't, that you won't be able to deal with them. You still have to deal with stuff, but like there's something about perspective, something about our mental process, which leads me to, there's a verse, Colossians 3:1, that says, set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. And that's that whole perspective. We need to not think of ourselves and our world so much. We need to think about the bigger picture, the bigger world. So, all that to say, that's where this series came from. And you wouldn't believe my phone these days, because I take so many pictures of clouds. Like, I'm like driving in the car. Well, not me driving, but my husband's driving, and I'm taking pictures of clouds, and I'm like, none of these look good at all, because, taking pictures of clouds don't quite do them justice, right? And then through a car window really doesn't do it justice. So, I've got all these pictures of these really not good clouds. But I was able to kind of piece together certain things to bring this series to life. And I did ask some friends on Facebook and stuff to provide some cloud pictures. And so I used some of those, or a combination of some, or my siblings are photographers. And so I kind of borrowed some of their reference photos for some clouds as well. So, and I really wanted to cover, in the 7, I wasn't sure how many I was going to make. I was able to make 7. But I wanted to cover different times of day, different colors, obviously, different textures of clouds, that type of thing. So I tried to get some daytime, some more ominous, some more, setting sun or rising sun, scattered clouds, all of that, some perspective happening. Each one, though, I wanted to emphasize the clouds themselves, which is why I did the long 12-inch by 36-inch canvases. But at the bottom of each one, though, I wanted to give a little suggestion, little context to, where they were. I didn't want the whole thing to be clouds. I wanted there to be a little bit of suggestion of, is this like residential area? Is this, I wanted to make it feel personal. Is this like a road? Is this like mountain scene? Is this like, where was this? Or is this, or could this be trees, forest, whatever. So I wanted to hint at a little bit of that at the bottom of each one, but it takes up only about a fourth or less. Most of these are less probably, but a fourth or less of the canvas is the context, the scene, the landscape, so to speak. And then the rest is the clouds. So it's been really, really fun, a really fun series to paint. I've whipped them out, and I'm going to probably whip out more, because I've just enjoyed painting these so much and reflecting on all these things that I shared, obviously. So with that said, let's see. You might be curious which one of these was my first one. Any guesses? It actually might not be one that you think is my first one, but and if you are a friend or family member and you know which one was the first one, because when people came to my house, they'd see some of these. Don't say anything. But, okay, I'll tell you. The first one is actually Drama Queen. This was number 1. The clouds were crazy the night that I took the photo. And I was like, I would love to do a series of clouds. Like, I think it just hit me in that moment that, like, the sky is constantly changing. The colors are constantly changing. It's an amazing thing. And then I was like, of years to do it, of years to reflect up and look at the sky, this is the year. And so this was painting number 1. And of course, it was kind of an experimentation one. I was like, I don't know what this series is going to look like. I don't know what my process should be. I don't know what style I'm going for. But this one is the one with the super dark blue, or I should say bright blue. Yeah, I'd say bright blue. A bright blue underpainting, because that contrasts so well with all the bright dramatic pinks and purples in the scene. So this was number 1. It's probably, it's got softer texture and it's brighter colors and whatnot, but it's definitely, I feel like, a little bit different than the other ones. Like, I think maybe my style developed a little more throughout it, but it's definitely one of my favorites because of the colors, like, and the texture, and this whimsical, this like wispy. There's so many things about clouds that can be really tricky to paint. Like, you can get texture, which can be really fun, like this type of thing, but then you get this soft blended, like smoky look, and it's like, how the heck do you do that, right? But you can kind of hint at that a little bit, which I tried to do here. And yeah, then I don't remember what order they went in from there particularly, but they're all here. So I'm trying to think if there's any specific things I wanted to say about any of them before I let you go. Any questions? I'm not seeing any questions at the moment, but if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section of this video. And again, to see these more up close with some better pictures, see each full painting individually, you can go to fragilegloryimpressions.com/artwork, and you'll see them at the top of my artwork page. You can see all the details, you can see the title, description, and everything there. So I would recommend go checking them out up close, because this doesn't really do them justice when you can't get up close to see that texture and see those underpainting colors showing through, which is really the fun part of this series. So let's see. I think that might be it. Just making sure that I covered everything I wanted to cover. A few ways that you guys can support FGI, if you think of it, my website is updated. So go, obviously the link is in the description, or in the comment section and description, actually both places, but you can go check out the new website, browse a little bit. But I do have cards. All my cards, which I've been selling for years, are for sale online. So you can buy cards online and I can ship them to you. Yay! It's a huge thing I've been wanting to do for a while. So, and actually, promote it. So you can go check that out. Cards are a great way to encourage other people and to spread love and joy and positivity to people. So that's one way you can do that. Handwritten notes, I don't think should ever or will ever go out of style. So you can go check those out as well. And then last week was a big week because we launched FGI's Fragile Glory Impressions online art classes page, teachable page. So fragile-glory-impressions at teachable.com or .teachable.com or something. So you can go check that out. There's a link at the website as well to see courses that I've taught, or courses you can purchase to learn about art, whether you're a serious artist or you just want to learn how to paint a specific thing. I've got painting parties for those of you that want to host a painting party. So lots of fun stuff. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. Please do so if you haven't. This video I am going to post again for those that didn't get to watch it live, to be able to watch it. So feel free to share it with anybody. Spread it around. That really helps me as an artist. And I hope you guys just have a wonderful weekend. Get outside, look up, see the sky, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.